Okay, the wind is blowing, so hopefully it doesn't ruin this video. And I'm not gonna set up a tripod at first, but we're gonna get a look in here first, and then if it looks like I can fix it, then maybe we'll get in there with the tripod. But for right now, I just took the feet, I took the corner feet off that were right here. They were kind of trapping this thing in. And this is my Setpower RV45S. This is my freezer cooler, but I've been using it as the freezer on my off-grid property for 3 years exactly now. It actually had a 3-year warranty on it, which was up in April, and it started dying in May. So, you know, that's how things work these days. They're designed to fail right when the warranty is up. And the company was pretty cool, was like going through troubleshooting with me, and you know, if it was within that 3 years, they were going to send me parts if they had to, or maybe a new one. But since it was 1 month out of that warranty, I'm not going to get any help with this really. So I'm going to open it up because it's still cooling. And like 2 weeks before this started, I had melted the ice that was inside that had built up all winter in there. And I cleaned it out with bleach and got all the juice and stuff because I had some blueberries that were leaking in there at one point, and I just cleaned it, and then I started running it, and then 2 weeks later is when it started acting up. So I don't know if maybe when I unplugged it for that hour and cleaned it, if like something melted into the unit and like blocked something or what. And then there's also a possibility, like we got a lot of ladybugs up here and they get into everything in the fall and stay into them. So there could be like a bunch of ladybugs in there, or a bunch of dust, or maybe the fan that circulates the air broke, because right now, if I keep it running, it will run all the time non-stop. I usually have it set at 11 degrees Fahrenheit, which will keep the meat frozen and pretty much runs at 35 watts sporadically through the day, and I only go through about 20% of my battery on a really hot day when I have it on that setting. So that's where I like to keep it set, and usually it will keep between 11 and 14 degree temperature, you know, always, and it has for the last 3 years. And now when it runs, it'll cool down to about 32 degrees right at freezing. This is Fahrenheit, 0 degrees Celsius, and but the compressor will run all day non-stop, and I'm using about 50% of my battery every 24 hours to run it right now. So I don't know what would cause that, because it's still cooling, you know, so the compressor can't be completely dead. Maybe, you know, the chemical in the compressor, the refrigerant is not good, or it's leaking or something like that, but then it would probably just die because it's such a small compressor. So the fact that it's actually staying cold means that maybe the circulating fan is dead and it's just not circulating the air around the cooler like it was, so it's not able to get it down to that lower temperature. It seemed like on one side of the cooler it was still staying really cold, but not on the other. So hopefully when we open it up, it'll be something easy and we can just clean it out and clean all the dust out, and you know, maybe replace that little fan that's in there, and maybe it will run again. So I'm gonna unscrew this face and open it up and prop it in a way where I'm not pulling any of the wires, and then I'll bring you guys back. This is a different video than we usually have on the channel, but this is part of the off-grid life, especially for me. I need this freezer. It's like your diet is vastly different when you have no way to refrigerate stuff, and it's not good. You eat a lot more pasta and rice, which is already killing me, so I need to be able to freeze meat and have meat at the property. So let me look in there. There's a giant spider in here. Yeah, there he is right there. Can you see him? I don't know if you can. There's a big ugly spider. Oh, there he is right there. Yeah, there he is. But his nest isn't, his web isn't really that crazy. It's not that crazy in here. It's pretty clean. It's not that dusty or anything. So I'll clean it out a little bit and clean everything off. This heat sink over here I'll clean off and clean everything off, but I don't know, it's not looking good. I don't see very much dust built on it. Maybe if that fan, see that fan right there? if that fan doesn't come on, then obviously that'll be the problem. But it looks like it's pretty hard to get a new fan in there without disconnecting the compressor, which is under pressure and everything. So yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll see. I'm gonna go and plug it into the battery and see if the fan comes on. And well, first I'm gonna clean it all out in there with a toothbrush and get everything, all the dust and stuff out. And I have this like blower thing that I use for the fire. I'll blow everything out of there. But yeah, so far I don't know. It doesn't look like there's a lot of dust or something that would be making it not work. So I guess I'll just have to look through it and see if anything happens. I'll bring you guys back if it looks good. I'll bring you guys back either way, but like hopefully I'll bring you back with good news. Well, it says 42 watts on the anchor. 56 degrees right now inside there, which is still cool actually. It's like 70 out here. I usually run it on medium compressor speed because it's only runs at 35 watts. But I have it on max to see how quick it gets cold and see if it goes below that 30 degree mark. But the fan is working fine, it looks like. I mean, the majority of the sound this thing makes is from that fan, which I could hear it, so I figured it was running, but if it wasn't, that was gonna be an easy way to fix it. So it looks like that's running, and everything's pretty clean. I cleaned it out. There was a little dust in there, but nothing that would really stop this thing from running. So I don't know. I let the whole thing melt last night. Damn it. I let the whole thing melt yesterday. Sorry for shaking you up, but I let it melt all last night. So if there was any ice or anything clogging up one of the pathways, I think it would have been freed up by now. It melted completely. I just cleaned it out, so I don't know. I cleaned it, and the fuse is fine. It doesn't have any damage at all. So I don't know. The only thing I can think of is that it's running out of refrigerant or Freon or whatever's in there. It's not Freon. It's that stuff right there. But I don't know. I don't think there's a way to recharge this thing. And even unhooking it, I think I might be able to buy the internals entirely put together already and put them in there. But I don't think there's a way to unhook that compressor because it's under pressure and everything. So I don't really know. I'll have to do some reading, but we're gonna let it cool down. We'll see. Maybe if it gets down to 11 degrees, then thawing it out and cleaning it out might have helped. But I'll bring you back later and let you know. Alright, well, I screwed the panel back on. I'm gonna screw the 2 top screws in. We're still letting it cool down, but it doesn't look like there's anything I can really do in there except for replace maybe everything in there at once. But I still don't even see how I would be able to do that with the way that this thing is set up. So I don't know. Setpower has replacement parts, but since it's not under warranty, they didn't offer any to me. I asked them if I could buy them, but they haven't replied to me yet. So we'll see what happens. But I don't know. I don't know if I'll even be able to fix this. I think it would make more sense to send it back to them and have them put all the new stuff in it and then send it back. But I imagine the majority of the price of this cooler is not the shell, it's the compressor. So I'll bring you back right at the end of this video if it gets down below 30 degrees in the next hour, but I have a feeling it's not gonna. Okay, so I changed the setting to 30 degrees and it just hit 30 degrees and the motor cut off. So that's the problem I've been having with the battery consumption, is it's been running non-stop. So I'm gonna set it at 11 degrees and we'll see if it goes down to 11 degrees. Maybe something happened. Maybe I just needed to thaw the whole thing out one time and completely, like I did yesterday. So it's maintaining this temperature. So that's good, but it's still on max. So I guess put it on min. Still not tripping on. I mean, at 30 degrees, I can still use this as a refrigerator, but it's not really ideal for my particular lifestyle. Actually, we'll do 14 degrees first, because that's like the bare minimum temperature that I could run it at. It's also 70 degrees out here right now, which when it was starting to act up, it was 90, 95 degrees, so I don't know. I'm gonna let it run for a minute, we'll come back. I'm eating tacos, dinner time. But it says it's hit 20 degrees, which it took about 30 minutes, maybe 20 minutes to hit the 30 degrees before. And it's hit 20 degrees. I have it set for 14 degrees, so we'll see if it gets down there, and if it does, we'll see if it actually turns off. If it does, then maybe it just needed to be thawed out. I don't know. It's a disappointment because that's a bunch of jam. I had about 6 months worth of jam in this freezer that I had to get rid of, which is a total waste. Blueberry jam and some cherry jam. So that sucks, but if this goes down to 14 degrees and turns off, then I'm gonna fill it with water bottles and let those freeze, and then I'll put the freezer back where it was in the shed. The shed also gets hot when it's really hot, like during the summer when it's 90 out or 80 out, and when the sun's beaming on the shed will get up to almost 100 degrees. So I don't know, maybe the temperatures was why it wasn't cooling right. But I don't know. If I just fill it with water bottles and freeze it, those frozen water bottles also like take a lot of stress off the system. So I had the fridge completely full of food, but I usually do have 2 frozen water bottles in there during the summer, so maybe it was just stressing out. So we'll see if it gets down to 14 degrees and if it turns off, and if it does, then maybe cleaning it fixed it. Alright, well I just put this water jug in here, and the temperature went from 16 degrees, which is definitely the lowest it's been since the problem started, up to 21. So I don't know if that was just from opening it and putting that water in there, or if it's basically hit the wall of where it's having problems. Or I don't know. Oh yeah, 20 degrees. So maybe that water bottle just kind of warmed up the internals. I mean, the water is like 65 degrees, so not that cold. I just dropped my taco plate. Alright, well, I'm gonna keep dealing with it. This video is getting long for something like this, but I don't know. I think this thing is working. It's at least working good enough. I think I could use it reliably as a refrigerator. But this unit is so loud that I just couldn't have it. I have it in the shed for a reason, because it's so loud I can't have it. If I have it even on the porch out here, that sounds so loud I can't sleep at night with that running. So, you know, I live in the middle of nowhere, so it's dead quiet at night, unless the raccoons are screaming, fighting over something. Oh yeah, 18 degrees. Okay, so this is still cooling, and this is on the minimum compressor speed, so I'm sure if I put it on max it would be cooling even faster. This is how I like to run it though, on the minimum, this exact setting right here. It runs at about 35 watts, and I only go through about 10 to 20% of my battery every 24 hours. And usually the solar can keep up with that and keep the battery pretty much full. So I don't know, we'll see. It's cooling. I mean, before I took it out and cleaned it, it was not cooling below 32 degrees really, or 30 degrees. So I'm pretty excited. Man, there's a lot of traffic today, which there never is up here. It's a Saturday. It's the same 3 people though. It's like always up here. Fucking same people back and forth all day long. I don't know what the hell they're doing. But yeah, it's going down, so I don't know. We'll see if those, you know, I'm gonna freeze 3 or 4 liter bottles, or 3 or 4 3-liter bottles, Poland Spring water bottles. I'm gonna freeze those in there, and then once they're frozen, I'll put it back in the shed. And you know, I had a lot of jam and a jam is high temperature. It doesn't get super cold because of how much sugar's in it. And I had a lot of other stuff that I usually wouldn't store in this thing. So I'm just gonna fill it full of ice water and let it turn to ice, and then leave enough room that I can put meat for 2 weeks. And if I can do that and it will run, I'll be happy. All right, 14 degrees and it shut off with all the correct settings. So I don't know what happened to this thing. I mean, I did have this bag full of bottles that was kind of close to this vent over here, but this isn't even the side that the fan and condenser's on. So I don't think that would have messed it up, but maybe that bag was only up against it for like 4 or 5 hours one day, and then I saw it and I pulled it away from it. So I don't know, maybe that caused it to start running afoul, or maybe when I cleaned it that day, I tipped it on its side. And when they ship this product, they tell you to leave it upright for like 5 or 6 hours after the shipping, so everything can settle the right way before you start it up. So maybe when I cleaned it, I tipped it the wrong way and then started it right up, and you know, the Freon or something had a bubble in it or something. I don't know what happened, but it looks like it's maintaining temperature, which I'm not gonna go buy a whole month's worth of meat, but next time I'm at the store, I'll buy a week or two's worth of meat and put it in here, and hopefully it's just gonna run again. I don't know what happened, but hopefully cleaning it and whatever we did fixed it. It looks like it did. So yeah, hopefully it's fixed, because I can't live out here off grid without a freezer. If I do, I have to live a vegetarian lifestyle for the most part, so that's a nightmare. I don't want to do that. I was a vegetarian a long time ago, but I don't want to do that again. It is a good way to maintain low weight, which I've been having a hard time. I turn 40 this next year, so yeah, things are harder when it comes to that. But I definitely need a freezer out here. So Uncle Dave with DC's Adventures, hopefully we fix this damn thing. Thank you for watching. If you stayed to the end, this is a crazy long video, but you need a freezer. It's hard. It's not like Amish life here. If I had like a whole barn full of sawdust, I might be able to cut ice down on the river like the Amish do, but I'm not set up for that. They have horses and everything, so I really need my solar to work, and I need my solar to provide refrigeration and my cell phone and my laptop for entertainment, and that's pretty much it. I don't really need power for anything else, so I need this stuff to work. So hopefully we did it, and I don't know, maybe I'll make a video in a couple days telling you that it shit the bed, but hopefully we did it. I'll catch you guys in the next one. My garden space, chicken coop. I was just out back in the shed and I looked, and all the water bottles are frozen solid and it's maintaining a 14-degree temperature. So I don't know what happened. I don't know how we fixed it. I guess just cleaning it off or thawing it out completely seemed to fix it. So knock on wood, hopefully the little freezer continues to run. So thank you for watching. I'll catch you on the next one.